Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about the mutex, the concept called mutex. So already we discussed the semaphores and also how we solved the producer consumer problem with the help of semaphore. So the simplified version of the semaphore is said to be the mutex. But semaphore is not, we are actually used with some count variable, so which is nothing but the common variable. So it is actually it is not needed actually. So we are going to the next concept called mutex, and it is nothing but the simplified version of semaphore, and it is said to be the shared variable. Mutex is nothing but it is said to be the shared variable, and it is good to use whenever you are checking for any mutual exclusion on any two process. So whenever you want to check if is there any mutual exclusion, or whether both the process which which is accessing a common data is actually satisfied the mutual exclusion or not. So for that we are using this mutex variable. So it is actually a shared variable, this mutex. And why we are using this mutex? Because it is very easy and efficient. So it has been implemented in thread packages. So it is highly useful in thread packages, and it could be implemented in user space itself. So we have stored this kind of variable in user space itself, and it is very much useful for the thread packages rather than the process. Even in the process we can use it, no problem. So the mutex is a shared variable, and it consists of two states. One is unlocked and another one is locked. So these two states can be represented with the values called 0 and 1. So unlocked is for 0 and the locked value, which is nothing but 1. And there are two procedures under this mutex variable. They are mutex lock and mutex unlock. So we discuss how the process will use these two procedures. So in order to use the mutex variable, it has to go with these two procedures. Let us see how it is actually going to execute. So when a thread or else itself a process itself, okay, when a thread or a process needs access to a critical region, so first what it has to do, it has to call any one of the procedure, that is mutex lock. So it has to call this mutex lock, because only if it calls the mutex lock, so other process can understand this particular process is actually using that common data. So what is the meaning of it? It enters into the critical region. So already it entered into the critical region. So this intimation that it has to provide to all other threads or all other process. So it is going to access this mutex lock. Suppose if the mutex is currently unlocked, so what is the meaning of it? Already some other threads is actually entered into their own critical region. So already it is using that common data. So this calling thread has to block itself. So this calling thread, so whichever the thread has called this mutex lock function, so it has to block itself. So calling thread I'm sorry, I just changed. So if the mutex is unlocked, means the calling thread gets the call succeed, which means it can able to enter into the critical region. Suppose if the mutex is locked already, so while any of the thread calling this mutex lock, so it is it come to know that the mutex has been already locked. So which means some other thread has been used that has been using that common data. So it is in currently in critical region. So what happens? The calling thread cannot enter the critical region, so it has to block. So we are just blocking this calling thread, and at a time more number of threads may be blocked, and randomly we can pick any of the thread to wake up. So which means we can allow that any of the thread to acquire the lock. So randomly we can select any of the threads. So it does not mean we have to perform any specific technique or we have to choose according to some of the rules. It is not like that. So we have to select randomly any of the thread from the blocked list, and we can allow that particular thread to get the critical region, right? And the next one, if mutex are so simple, so because it is implemented in user space itself, okay, and it has also been implemented with the help of this exchange instruction. So already we discussed the TSL, and so it is some of the hardware instructions. So how we are implementing this mutex lock and mutex unlock procedure, right? So we have some set of instruction. So first, for the mutex lock, the code for mutex lock, TSL register mutex, which means we are moving this mutex value to register. So copying the mutex value to register and set mutex to 1. So what is the meaning of it? So we are setting this mutex to 1 because we are just allowing, we are just intimating to all other process that it is trying to get into the critical region, right? And the next one's compare register 0. So we are just comparing what could be the value of this register, whether it is equal to 0 or not. Suppose if it both are equal, then jump 0 equal. So which means if both are equal, then it is okay, it can enter into the critical region. Suppose if both are not equal, then what you have to do, call thread yield. We are not going to block that particular process. So we are just going to allow, we are not going to hold the CPU for the particular process. We are going to leave the CPU, and so that is what we are performing this thread yield. CPU will given to any other thread or the process to execute. So we are not going to waste the CPU cycles here. Okay, and then jump mutex lock, which means again we are going to try so whether it can enter into the critical region after some time or after a few seconds, right? So the next one is mutex unlock. Mutex unlock means, so after coming out from the critical region, so this particular process has to execute this mutex unlock to show that all other process can acquire the mutex lock, can enter into the critical region. So in order to give that information, so the particular process has to execute this mutex unlock after coming out from the critical region. So it has to change this value of mutex to 0. So this is what we are actually doing for mutex lock and mutex unlock. This is how we are implementing these two code. Okay, so here the code of this mutex lock is somewhat similar to the code of the enter region. Enter region is nothing but before going into the critical region, so we need to check whether is it possible to enter into the critical region. So that is what intersection. So this code is actually similar to the intersection, but there is a lot of difference. In case of intersection, what we will do, suppose if the condition fails to enter into the critical region, so it keeps on executing the same condition, right? So we have the while statement, so it gets stuck into the while statements itself, right? So the loop, it is nothing but the busy waiting. So we are actually implemented that busy waiting concept in case of enter region. So after some time, the process holding that lock, so it will run and it will release it. Okay, so but in case of this mutex lock, we are not implementing that busy waiting, so we are just going with the thread yield concept. So if suppose it fails to acquire a lock, it calls the thread yield. So why we are calling the thread yield? To give up the CPU to another thread. So CPU will get some other thread to execute. So we are not actually executing the busy waiting concept here, so we are not wasting the CPU cycles. And when the thread runs next time, it tests the lock again. So again the CPU is executing the same thread, so it will execute the lock. So mutex lock, it will execute that mutex lock. So since thread yield, it is just a call to the thread scheduler in user space, so it is very fast because we have implemented all these kinds of threads in user space itself. So it will be very fast, and we are not disturbing the kernel space and all, so it will not take much time to execute all these instructions. So it will be very easy and efficient too if you use this mutex lock and mutex unlock concept, right? So we can compare this mutex lock with the previous thing whatever we discussed, like Peterson problem and also the semaphore. So in those kinds we have some common data. So we just mentioned that whether it is in a user space or kernel spaces, there is some common data and we are going to access by any of the two process. So that is what we just mentioned, but whether that common data is available in the user space or in a kernel space. Suppose if it is in kernel space, it is very difficult to execute the accessing operation of that common data, because for each and every simple operation we need to go with the specific system calls, because we are going to disturb the kernel itself. So we need to make some system calls in order to perform even the read or write operation on the common data, right? So if it is in a user space, then it will be very easy, because we are not going to intervene the kernel space or the kernel. So mutex plays a major role, because we have implemented in case of user space itself. So that was we are telling it is more efficient than the previous technique whatever we have used to implement the concept of critical region problem, right? How we are going to solve the critical region with the help of semaphore or even with the Peterson solution. But mutex is somewhat good to use. Okay, and the last one, so even if the two different process is actually accessing the common data which is stored in the user space, so it will have lot of similarities, right? So if it trying to share each and everything between or among the two process, so it will have lot of similarities. Even then we have some difference between those two process, which is nothing but it will have different open files and the timers, and also other some per process properties. So we have lot of properties for each and every process, so that may differs on the two process. Even though if it is sharing many of the things as a common, so we have some more difference among those two processes. So this is what I would like to tell. So since we are using only the user space in order to implement all these mutex concept, so it is very easy and efficient too. Thank you.